You probably didn't look for this. Not really. Maybe you were just scrolling, or walking, or staring at the ceiling waiting for your mind to finally stop rehearsing conversations that will never happen. But you're here. And there's a reason you haven't closed it yet. It's the same reason you sometimes pause right before you turn the key in your front door. That tiny, heavy second where you just stand there in the dark, looking at the handle, wondering why the life you spent so much time building feels like something you're supposed to apologize for. You've felt this before. Not once. Not twice. But enough times that you're beginning to wonder if the rooms you walk into are getting smaller, or if you're just getting too large for them. You smiled today so nobody would notice how exhausted you really were. It's an art form, isn't it? The way we wrap our tiredness in polite efficiency. You tell people you're just busy. But busy is a lie we tell ourselves so we don't have to admit we're drifting. But none of that is the real reason you're listening. The real reason is much quieter. It's a subtle shift. Like noticing a door in your childhood hallway that you swear was never there before, yet the paint around the frame is cracked and old. Think back to a few months ago. Or maybe a few years. There was a specific evening. The air was cold, the kind that makes your breath bloom in front of you under the last streetlight before home. You were listening to the sound of your own footsteps, and it hit you, this strange, sudden certainty that you were playing a character in a movie you didn't remember auditioning for. You promised yourself things would look different by now. And they do, on paper. You've checked the boxes. You've managed the crises. You've optimized the routine. But every time you reach the destination, the horizon just moves 5 miles further out. You're running on a treadmill, staring at a beautiful painting of a forest, wondering why you can't smell the pine. Here's what almost nobody notices about that feeling: it isn't burnout. It's something much more dangerous. It's the moment your brain stops protecting you from your own choices. Our minds are incredibly kind executioners. For years, they filter out the noise. They keep you focused on the next task, the next milestone, the next distraction, because if you actually looked at the gap between who you are and who you're pretending to be, the friction would tear you apart. So your mind dulls the edges. It lets you walk past the open doors without seeing them. But then, something slips. A momentary lapse in your internal security system. A late-night drive where the radio goes static. A sudden silence after an argument where you realize you don't even care about being right anymore, you just want to be left alone. And in that crack, you see it. Just once. You see the life you're actually living, stripped of the excuses. It's terrifying, isn't it? To realize that the monster under the bed wasn't failure. The monster was the safety you negotiated for yourself. You traded your wildness for predictability, and now you're angry at the cage, even though you're the one holding the key. But the strange part comes later. Why do we stay? If you know the cage is open, why do you settle back into the corner of it every morning at 7 a.m.? There's a concept we don't like to talk about, the comfort of a familiar misery over the terror of an unfamiliar joy. You know exactly how to survive the current version of your heaviness. You've mapped its terrain. You know its flavor. If you change things now, if you actually step through that door, who are you? If you stop being the person who fixes everything, who carries everything, who smiles through the exhaustion, what's left? That's the hidden conflict. You aren't afraid of the future. You're afraid of losing the identity you used to survive the past. You've built a whole monument out of your endurance. Look how much I can take, you whisper to yourself in the mirror. Look how strong I am. But strength isn't the same thing as living. Sometimes, staying strong is just a sophisticated way of staying stuck. At first, it seems insignificant. A small thought. A passing doubt. But it grows. Let's go back to that streetlight. The one from the cold evening. Imagine standing under it again, right now. But this time, look down at your hands. You're holding a suitcase. It's full of things you don't need anymore, old expectations, apologies for things that weren't your fault, the need to be understood by people who are committed to misunderstanding you. You've been carrying it because you thought it was your history. But it's just weight. There's a beautiful, brutal mechanism in human psychology where change doesn't happen when you finally get enough information. It doesn't happen when you read the right book or hear the right speech. Change happens when the cost of staying the same becomes higher than the cost of losing everything you thought you were. You probably missed the moment the scales tipped. It wasn't an accident that you found this today. Your mind has been preparing for this realization for months, quietly dropping hints, making you feel uncomfortable in your own clothes, making your favorite distractions taste like ash. You are standing right at the edge of the ocean after dark. You can't see the water, but you can hear it, massive, moving, indifferent to your hesitation. You can feel the salt on your skin. You can stay on the dry sand where it's safe, or you can take the step. Everything you are currently defending, the routine, the reputation, the quiet desperation, is demanding that you turn back. It's telling you that this is just a passing mood. That tomorrow you'll wake up and be sensible again. But you won't. Because once you see the door, you can't unsee it. You can pretend it's closed, you can build a wall over it, but every time you walk down that hallway, you will know exactly what's hiding behind the drywall. That's when everything quietly changes. Not with a bang. Not with a dramatic announcement. Just a quiet, internal turning of the back on the person you used to be. A gentle no to the things that used to consume your nights. You don't need to know what's on the other side of the door to know you can't stay in the hallway anymore. If you were completely honest with yourself, what is the lie you are most tired of telling?